can see your slide. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, that's nice. So I wanted to give overview on various approvals which these drugs has got across the globe, including US FDA and Canada and Brazil, and followed by UK, Europe, India. So various countries has got approval for various class of drugs. And we can see, like, this approval started in 2005, long back in 2005, for diabetes indication. You can see type 2 diabetes indication was I will just try and see, like, if I can do much. Yeah. So you can see the pointer, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can see.
So yeah. So this drug, first drug is exenatide, approved in 2005, long back, for type 2 diabetes in a pen format, and that got patent expiry in 2012 as per laws existing during that time by FDA. And this had frequency, like the pen frequency was daily dosing, and then later on this other drugs came in pipeline, like liraglutide, exenatide ER, extended release, which is having weekly frequency and other things, and like liraglutide for obesity also increased, which is having higher dose and more frequency. And then the major break is came through semaglutide SC injection in type 2 diabetes by Novo Nordisk. And this drug has weekly frequency for the injection, as well as the lesser side effect. As Dr. Uniprashan already mentioned, a lot of GI side effects were associated with these kind of drugs because they are directly acting on GI tract, and less frequency of nausea and vomiting were seen. And this later on, the obesity indication was also approved by FDA in a form of pen, which is called Wegovy. The brand name was Wegovy. And then Monjaro, we all know, like tirazepatide has come by Eli Lilly, and for type 2 diabetes mellitus, but it has being used in obesity also very, immensely across the globe. And oral Wegovy 25 milligram was approved by FDA in last 2025. So over the period 2005 to 2025, the drug has seen the various molecules has seen various kind of indication. Now, I came to know yesterday only, like, this Wegovy HD is also approved by FDA on 19th March. It was accelerated approval by FDA, and it is mainly for obesity. For longer term, I would say long term obesity effect, as we know that it's a reversible effect coming, like, once you stop the drug, and immediately the patient start gaining the weight. This indication, as of now, say, I have to go more detail on it, but as of now, this details are written as long term obesity cure. The Canada is having interesting story. Like, the Novo Nordisk has launched their drug Ozempic in 2018, but this they have not. I think in first slide by Divishi, this is already mentioned. They have not given the annual fee to keep their patent, and then the patent got released this year only, and this market is freely open for other generic companies to come and give this approval by Canada if their data is in that line, like which is required by Canada Healthcare. The Brazil is
Perfect.
another
Got it.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can go.
you're saying something? Okay.
No, no, no.
Yeah. And like in Brazil, like, which is again a bigger market, the August 2018 this journey has started, and 2024 was the last approval by Monjaro, and the score patent will get released very soon. So various drugs, various other generic pharma companies are also planning to go into those markets, and this Q1 2026 is open for this Brazil market also. And when you go for any new drug, new generic, it takes a lot of time to do undergo the trial and but with generic, the journey is little smaller. You know the side effects, you can do the improvement. So there are various benefit going as a generic and first to file kind of companies, and we can see with these kind of picture coming out of these slides. So yeah. So I would like to present here in EMA, where this approval has started little late, but due to a lot of separate patent supplementary patent card certification, this is going till 2031 for semaglutide, and then this will take time means to open for the generic market. So I'm focusing mainly to generic market, which can launch their product into these markets. But for India, yes, as I mentioned, it's a very big day today because the patent got expired, and a lot of generics are there in pipeline to launch their product today. So over the period, like when we can see the 2020, when this journey started with India, GLP1, the first company, Novo Nordisk, the innovator, they came with their drug called Rybelsus, which is oral drug. Means like very widely used across the country, and that's the only semaglutide was available till this time. But now this patent expiry, a lot of other companies like Sun Pharma, Zydus, Alkem, MSN Lab, Natco, Torrent, many companies are coming. They have submitted their data for various indications. We can see like type 2 diabetes, obesity, CKD, the chronic kidney disease, cardiovascular indications. So various indications they have filed their applications and got the approval based on the data provided by them. So so they launched, maybe we'll hear by newspaper or news channels or the educational forum like this, that which company is coming and launching their product at what time. So multiple generics are ready, and this is going to be a major competitive market for India. We can also see like CDSCO approval has evolved. Innovators used global data. Generic now require India phase 3 shift. So initially, like when this LLE came for this first type 2 diabetes indication, GLP class 1 I'm talking about. So they've done with the standard NDA approval process. Later on, the liraglutide and other drugs like which has come into the Indian market, they have gone for their clinical trial data and phase 3 data they have produced to the India. Different kind of trial data called sustained trial data. I'm not going into detail of these trials, but the trial itself known as sustained trial data, pioneer trial data, they have gone to DCGI and you know given their viability approvals. Then like later, the company called Biocon, they came to the market, and they applied for Route 101, where US, Europe, UK approved reference data was used for to get the Indian approval. But when this other drugs, other companies came and produced their data in different indication like obesity and type 2 diabetes, so they have given with the difference. The trial was done in such a way that it was quite convincing for the CDSCO that yes, you have to do phase 1 and phase 3 trial in Indian population. If any kind of waiver or any kind of bridging study is needed, they will give upfront suggestion to them. But looking at the market and looking at the excitement in the market, they made it very clear, like you have to undergo with proper trial, and you have to submit all those trial to get the approval. So we can see like CDSCO has given various list of trial which is needed. Then waiver and everything depends on what kind of data the company has produced. So phase 1 trial data in India, they're asking for Indian subjects to be exposed to PK study. If it is not done in this thing, it can be waived based on NDCT rule, but that depending on what kind of data you have done outside India, and then what kind of this suggestion you are coming to India and getting this approval. Phase 3 trial, like Indian cohort in global trial, 10 to 30%, or standalone Indian trial also they are recommending based on indication, based on their application. Various bridging studies for any new indication. If you are going, let's say drug is approved in diabetes, but you want to go for obesity, or if there is any change in indication or something like that, then based on their application, they are giving a suggestion for bridging studies. Cardiovascular long-term safety effect, they have made it quite they are supervising quite well about the side effects and other things. During the trials, we have it has been noticed that other side effect, like Dr. Murali already mentioned about these, like retinal side effect and other things. So they are recommending, making recommendation based on uh, available data and based on side effects seen, and they are giving queries as well as follow-up studies for post marketing data on these side effects. Now, like it is mandatory to do post marketing surveillance data for 2 to 4 years, and give submission of these side effects, like as a pharmacovigilance activities. As we can say, like it's getting exposed a wider, the cost is reducing. Obesity is very much prevalent in India, and when so many market players are coming, it's expected that more people will use these drugs, and we will see more side effects as well, like in more number of side effects. And so we have to keep a close watch on side effects which is coming in a broader population, and those kind of the you know things will come through PSU or PBRR, which are typically pharmacovigilance activities, which these companies has to submit to DCGI, and based on data is coming, DCGI may make further recommendation, safety recommendation, I mean to say, for these particular drug. There are a couple of companies where immunogenicity testing also they have recommended. The kind of data they have produced. Then some companies went to DCGI with European standard BMI, where Dr. Unikrishnan just mentioned, like the BMI which is being BMI standard which is being used by other countries like Europe and uh, US. Indian population is little leaner into that aspect when they comes under obesity category. So this like when we prepare a clinical trial protocol, we keep a criteria called BMI, and DCGI has given recommendation, like you have to include people with lesser BMI, like which is falling under the definition of obesity for these particular trials, instead of going directly to the higher kind of population. So that will definitely, these kind of recommendation will definitely give a lot of brainstorming when you do these studies, for especially for India, country like India, where huge population is exposed to diabetes as well as obesity. So Indian demographic data, that again you have to consider while designing a trial and getting the approval. And then like local GMP compliances, we have to, where the manufacturing is being done, what kind of the guidances they have, what kind of certification licenses these facilities are having. So all these things are under consideration with DCGI. So like again, ethics, we will not go into this detail, but yes, in short I can say that DCGI had made NDCT rule very clear, and SEC approval requires PK and phase 3 data. And further to this, we have to take care of safety of the Indian population. Now, this slide is a little very in short, I wanted to say, like, what is peptide and what is biosimilar. So initial confusion was like, why these drugs cannot be considered as a biosimilar, why this is being considered as peptide. Now we can see this from this table, it is very clearly visible, like what kind of differences these semaglutide generics as well as the biosimilar, where the insulin and other liraglutide biosimilar was there, what kind of differences it has. So semaglutide is purely synthetic like molecule, we can say, not as a biosimilar which is being produced by living cells. So these are their manufacturing, semaglutide manufacturing is typically called solid phase peptide synthesis, and where the molecular weight of semaglutide is much lesser than biosimilars, and then the manufacturing route itself is a peptide synthesis. Every company is having their own mechanism of this synthesis, but the companies which has got DCJ approval, they have produced their data in front of them, and they have, once they're fine with that data, they have given the approval to launch the drug today. Now, like characterization is a little easier in small molecule, I will not say small molecule, I will say synthetic peptide than biosimilar. Biosimilar characterization very complicated, and a lot of batch to batch variability is visible. But in this case, it is comparatively easy. Like trial okay, for biosimilar, we have to have a specific regulatory pathway to be followed. Post-marketing study is very much mandatory in biosimilar since long time for Indian approval. But in this, as I said, like recently we are evolving, and then phase one, phase three, BE study requirement is changed over the period. And currently, everyone has to do phase three trial as well as the BE study also. Immunogenicity risk is there with peptide, but less than biosimilar. And interchangeability, someone asked this question. So if B phase three data is met with one drug to other drug, it can give approval of for the same molecule interchangeably. But with biosimilar, it is not possible to get approval despite of, means they have to produce a data to get the approval for interchangeability, uh, designation. I think these are the main examples which has already, we all know, like, all generic semaglutide is coming in the market. And then with this kind of, the best part is peptides are low in cost, manufacturing cost is low, less number of data they have to produce. But with biosimilar, cost is little high and manufacturing cost is little high. It's coming from living cells. A lot of different challenges are there in manufacturing biosimilar. So some advantage with peptide, then what biosimilar molecule like liraglutide and insulin had challenges. So semaglutide may give some upper hand on these aspects. Now this is just an overview, like when across globe the patent is getting expired. So India, 20th March 26 was the day like where this patent has expired. Canada, I already mentioned, like when this patent is getting expired. Then skinny label strategy, like non-obesity indication, can be done in Europe depending on what kind of indication you are choosing. So the other indication, they are patent till 2031, and the US is last to open because their patent filing is little longer duration, and there are a lot of supplementary patent certification has been taken by companies. So in brief, like the patent map 2026 shows like 2026 going to be a key market, key year for the emerging market. Europe will open late, US much later, but India is already opportunity. Canada is also already opportunity, and Brazil can also be approached. This is again a history, like how global as well as Indian DCJ approval came for the semaglutide specifically, not with other liraglutide, just an overview of semaglutide, injectable as well as oral. So 2017 we started with FDA, and then currently like Rybelsus 40 mg got approval for CV risk. So different indication has changed over the period, different kind of formulation, but the molecule is same like semaglutide. So it has evolved, and I want to add 2026 for Wegovy HD for obesity also here in this table, which is missing. In India, we are lagging a little bit over the, like in the year, like 2017 they started with FDA, but yes, in India molecule came little late in January 2022, and then over the period it has got patent expiry. Now today we have a lot of companies standing in queue to launch their product with a lot of excitement in in the coming to the market. So they already got their DCJ approval. They already produced their data, what is needed to get the approval, and already resolved the number of queries what regulatory agencies might have made for their applications, and then they are available for to go into the market. Now this is like apart from oral drug, interesting part of injectable is device. So many companies are doing different innovative experiments with the device also. Novo Nordisk was the innovator. They have produced their own device, and they have full package they have launched in the market. But the other companies, like the companies are doing either tie up with other companies to make because it's expensive affair, and lot of size, lot of research is needed, lot of technology is involved. So they are doing tie up with other companies, and then they are coming to the market. They are doing a lot of experiments with the devices, like reusable pen is coming, pre-filled pens are coming, auto injectors are coming, single use or multiple dose pens are coming. So different kind of pens are being launched by different companies, and auto injectors are having their own benefits, single use is having their own benefits, multiple use is having their own benefits. So various benefits as well as various kind of pens, like we can see in this right hand side of this table, like what kind of different pens are coming by different companies. Flexi pen, which was originally by Novo Nordisk. Then Zydus is already got approval by DCGI with multiple use pen. Sun Pharma is a pre-filled pen. And then Netco multi-dose pen. BD is having another, science with pen. Many people are trying to have the pen similar to this thing, but we all know, like, this pen patent is patented till 2031. So no one can copy from original, like innovator style of pen. So they all are having different ideas, different this thing. An interesting piece is like we'll see once the pens are in the market, like which is more acceptable to patient, which is more convenient to patient for their use. And then maybe, clinician, where are they more confident, like, which kind of device is giving better compatibility to the patient's use, and less training is needed, and other different kind of challenges they are facing with maybe different kind of design devices. So this is data, like, I've just taken from various available publicly available sources, and like nothing is taken from their own documents and other information. So be mindful, like, when you use a drug and the pen, like, what kind of things can make or break them. So we all know, like, generic is coming, and today semaglutide is a big day. What, like, the question is there across the industry, like, who will survive? So many companies has given so much investment, and they are long period data they have produced with various kind of formulation, oral as well as subcutaneous, with various kind of recommendations, and also who will survive better. That question is always there, and we it's a like hot topic today for us, like which company will do better in the market, which company will which have to produce something more to come into the market. So that kind of questions are already. So some key points I just kept here in this slide, like device differentiation. So some is using multiple use, some is using single use. So that we'll see, like, which kind of pen will get more popularity. Clinical data confidence. Somewhere someone has done the very vigorous phase 3 data and produced various safety and the safety and safety data, efficacy data, and different indications also. So that kind of, whether data confidence is giving them weightage, extra weightage, or the distribution strategy. Many companies are having good sales and marketing team with various good relationship with endocrinologists and physicians who are sitting in the market, and they give the confidence that yes, this drug is there. They are taking their feedback very positively, changing the things, like, the approaches which is needed. So if this kind of approach is giving more upper hand to in the market, that we have to see. Then oral semaglutide, oral, like, everyone is afraid of injection. I don't want to take injections, and I'm more comfortable taking oral drug instead of taking injections. So that kind of thing also we have to see. Like, the challenge with oral semaglutide is that get easily denatured in the gastric lining. Now, to prevent this denaturation process in gastric lining, there has to be an excipient called SNAC excipient, and currently very less companies are having that that unique the method to give that to prepare this oral semaglutide. It's not that easy, and not available as of now for with other companies. So maybe oral semaglutide is getting more popularity due to this technology availability. We have to see. And then beyond the pill ecosystem, now apart from writing prescribing drug, what other things can help to the patient? So it can be a health app, it can be a obesity guideline, it can be a healthcare nutritional guideline. These kind of things can give maybe upper hand to these companies, and depends, like, which company is coming with which kind of uh, patient help system, where they can easily use it, and they can easily find it comfortable, and maybe using more this thing. So these are various points, like, which we have to see how and when which drug, which company is doing better in the market. I'm finding. So key takeaways. I already mentioned, like, FDA has built GNP class 1 system, like lot of indications, lot of new trials are being submitted, and then FDA remain, uh, data heavy in terms of indication and in terms of trials being done for FDA. India is already having very like large population of diabetes and as well as obesity. So with launch today, whether this access to generic will be easy. I have to change the price a little bit because this price has came yesterday and the slides were done before. So I think it's a little lower than this, which the price what generic companies has declared in their price list. So if the prices are so low, like, they can get the drug so easily available. And then medical affair priorities, like which kind of launches you have to do, so that mindset and that approval your process you have to take care in front of CDSCO. And maybe, with the demand is so much and then supply is less, then it will be a issue later. So we have to see, like, we can have any accelerated approvals by DCGI. Today we have to produce phase 3 data, we have to do phase 1 trial, so that is taking time. And maybe the next lot of companies will take another 2 to 3 years to come to the market if they have not already started. So that kind of thing will be there. So, and I think we have to see the pipeline, like if any other companies other drugs are getting prepared, which are much better than Munzara and also semaglutide. Also, we have to see, like, if they are coming with better preparation, better uses, better devices, better technology. If they are coming with another innovative idea, so we have to keep an eye there. So this is going to be a very interesting journey and very innovative market for sure. And with this slide, I would like to end my presentation here. And again, this information is taken from publicly available sources, and I would stop here. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a very well articulated presentation, very detailed. Thank you so much for, having this conversation with us. I would like, if anybody was want to ask some questions to Dr. Chalu, they can ask the questions. Also, I have 2, 3 questions lined up, but before that, if anybody wants to, ask some questions, they can raise their hand and ask the question. Dr. Shalu, there was a question from Nikhil. He was saying that the company with the pen has to launch vial. Do they have to take
Mhm.
any regulatory approvals?
They have to take approvals from the regulation, definitely, because approvals are coming based on the data you have produced, based on kind of application you have made. If it is you're changing any device, you have to go to DCGI. They may ask for bridging study, they may ask for separate study, they may ask other kind of data. And if it is already available, well and good, because when the companies are introducing new device, they generally produce some data. So they have to go with that data and take the approval. It is not.
Uh, but if the company already has the pen, the approval would be very easy, right, to go into a vial.
It depends, like, what kind of claim, what kind of doses they are trying to, what kind of indication they are trying to have. It will be easy because the company will have basic data available at least with them. They need not to go into the chemistry and that level, the CMC data and that level. Maybe device
Perfect.
data will be more important. Yeah.
Perfect. I wanted to ask that, once this, generics, ideally available at 4,000 rupees a pen or, 1,200 rupees an hour. So, what does how does the doctor's prescribing behavior actually change? By because it's affordability.
See, affordability is increasing. Obviously, more prescription will come. It will reach to mediocre household where the affordability is not much. In India, we do take care of our drugs and everything. Like, the cost is a big factor for and rather in few states, I would say Rajasthan and all those things where it is mandated by government itself. Like, you have to write only generics, not like no innovator. There are a lot of rules behind it, but at top level, these kind of rules are there. So if these kind of things are there and the cost is coming low and a better quality, obviously that affordability and this thing will increase and it will reach to more deeper into the market.
Understood. Understood.
Thank you.
Also, one more question on that. Oral semaglutide is already, available in India. So, in your view, it is good enough to replace the injectable one for most patients?
Uh, it depends actually. Oral you have to take every day. Injectable you have to take a certain frequency. So we have to see like which kind of patient we are dealing with. The patient can be more comfortable with the injectable depending on their oral compatibility. The tablet size little bigger. Like for some patient find it maybe a little bigger. They are more comfortable with weekly once injection and done for the week. So depending on patient's situation, patients if they are missing the doses in between, then it will be a problem with the oral. So
Okay,
injectable.
oral
So
is
we have to Yes,
injectable
so we
is
have to check.
convenient in that sense. Yeah,
Yeah, we have to check the status of patient also, like which kind of patient is taking, and then better to prescribe. Yeah.
perfect. I think we can end now. It was a wonderful session, and thank you